Okay, so let's go over your homework assignment for tonight. We've looked at two narrative poems. You've watched the Disney video of one of them. And we've also talked about alliteration and hyperbole and personification. So you should be well prepared to write this poem. So what you're going to do is you are going to write an original narrative poem about the topic of your choice. Your writing must contain the following. So, you are going to write a story that contains the elements of narrative. So, again, just to go over it again, you have to have characters, a setting, a climax, falling action, and a resolution to your poem. Okay? Your poem needs to be at least 20 lines in length, but it is okay if you want to have more. You can divide that up into stanzas however you choose. You can have 5 stanzas of 4 lines each. You can have 4 stanzas of 5 lines each. You can have 2 stanzas of 10, however you would like to do it. Your setting and characters need to be there, and you need a brief description of your characters, just like we talked about with Annabelle Lee. You need your conflict and your resolution have to be present. Now, this is important. Look, each element should be underlined or highlighted and labeled out to the side of the poem. Okay? You do not have to have a rhyme scheme, but just like with your watermelon poem, if you do not underline and highlight and label things, um, I will not accept the poem. It will be a 0. Again, this is about following directions. You have to follow the directions, okay? You do need to submit it via Google Classroom. If you looking on Classroom right underneath this document that you're using to go through the lesson, you will see the assignment posted as well, okay? Now, the last thing that you need to do, in addition to having the elements of narrative and 20 lines in your poem, you need to have some of the figurative language that we have been using. So you could use a metaphor, a simile, personification. We went over hyperbole and alliteration today, so you may also use those. But let's look here at the requirement. The figurative language that you decide to use also has to be underlined and highlighted. Um, so if you look on the rubric, I believe it is you have to have 5 pieces of figurative language in the piece. So that's you calculated that's one every 4 lines or so. Um, but just double check on the rubric that is attached to this. But I do believe that there is a number that you have to get to. So you have to use some figurative language, something in your piece. So make sure that you also highlight and label that. If you have any questions, be sure that you send me an email and I am happy to get back with you. So what I want you to do now is go ahead and close this document, and what you can do is get started on your narrative. If you happen to finish before class is over, that's fine, but you need to take out your independent novel and read.